Well, let me pick your brain for some freebies while I've got you, and then we'll start to look at wrapping this thing up. But I do want to
Sounds
ask
good.
you just some editing questions. You said that character is the most significant craft element for writing for children, and you want to avoid cliche characters. So, what are some of your tips for creating the best non-cliche character that's going to drive a good story?
Yes. So I've been thinking about this a lot, and this is one of the cornerstones of my teaching philosophy is this concept that I didn't come up with, but that I've kind of been squatting on of interiority. And I use that word and I define it as a character's thoughts, feelings, reactions, and inner struggle. A lot of manuscripts that skim on the surface, a lot of descriptions, pardon me, of character that skim on the surface, they don't really go to one level down on a character. And so for speaking of the phrase "and so," that is one of the things that I use in my editing a lot, which is, this character goes through this momentous event and it's not really tackled how they're reacting to it. Like maybe their heart starts hammering or whatever, or they feel shocked and devastated. Those are just words. How does it land with them in a more specific way? So I always, as an editor, find myself asking, and so, because there are a million different people on this planet, 8 billion actually, now that I say that. There are so many different personality types. There are so many different sensibilities out there. So I want to know, how this character would react to this event, why it's meaningful, some of those specific reasons. Sometimes the most unexpected reactions to events are the ones that are my favorites because they tell me something about character. Like if a character is to win a scholarship and they're pissed, why? Like what kind of things and stakes are tied up in that reaction? So I always sort of try to guide readers to what's underneath a reaction, what's underneath what a character is doing in a scene, what's underneath their behavior, the way that they're acting, why they want to pursue something, what matters to them, like these kind of deeper questions, because those are the things that we care about in our own lives. And I think kids and young readers, more so than anybody else, are the ones who are very, very concerned about what matters to them, why it matters, what the stakes of their situation are. They're very good at like having high stakes for kind of pedestrian situations. And so they care so deeply about their lives, their friends, what's going on with them. And if they know those things about a character, and not just like in picture book, it's whenever I see a picture book that's like, this is Jenny's favorite ice cream flavor is peanut butter. That doesn't tell me anything about Jenny. So I'm always writing people with and so type questions just to get a little bit more definition, a little bit more specificity to characters, because those specific things, and those may be surprising and unexpected things, like that unexpected reaction to the win of the scholarship, those are really what is going to get a reader invested. And readers desperately want to be invested. Like even diehard action fans, they don't want to see a crash test dummy go through the plot of the story. They want to care about a character that needs to change but hasn't figured out how, a character who struggles with something that seems like an immovable obstacle. These kind of things are what's ultimately relatable. They're the universal truths of life, and that's what we see when we see another character who, that's why I always say in a query letter, focus on what your character wants above all, because that's instantly relatable. We all know what it's like to desperately want something. And so, yeah, I strongly believe that character and kind of character nuance, not just character, not just who they are, not just what they wear, not just what kind of music they listen to, character nuance, like the deep, dark underbelly, vulnerable stuff that they may not even necessarily share with you right off the bat. That's what's going to bond character and reader.
Well, that sounds like it might lead to a moment where the author you're talking to says, well, I don't know why my character wants this so much, because I want it. And then they just start to weep.
And if they want it, it's probably true that there are readers out there who want the same thing. And then you guys have a love connection.
And so if you're looking to make a character stand out, it's show, don't tell. And the instance you use, if somebody likes peanut butter flavored ice cream, that fact isn't interesting. But if that person is able to shove 10 people out of the way in line to get the last peanut butter ice cream cone, that tells us something about that character. So am I hearing that right, that we want specific examples that show us who that character is, because we can't believe them if they just tell us who they are?
Yeah, and that ice cream happens to be peanut butter flavored. That is a secondary piece of information. If they throw elbows at a school bake sale, I learned so much more about that character than just, oh, they like peanut butter. No, I learned that they're maybe a little rude, tenacious, both good and bad things about them. And that helps me put together, because readers like to be detectives. They like to put together their own impressions of character. And so if you're shown something like that, and that was a great example, actually, if you're shown something like that, I get to participate in the story more and be like, oh, I get who this person is. I'm forming my own impression. Whereas if the writer was just like, she was tenacious and it sometimes got her in trouble, that just kind of lies flat on the page. I'd much rather see it in action and be able to come to that conclusion myself, because then I become more invested in the story, because I'm sort of like digging into it along with the reader and the writer.
I just kind of think of it as you're meeting a character for the first time. If I sat down in a coffee shop and somebody came up to introduce themselves to me, and the first thing they say is, I'm a very trustworthy person, I'm thinking, this is not a person I can trust.
Right.
Nobody who's trustworthy starts there. Show me you're
Exactly.
trustworthy, and then we'll see.